Chop Shop London Garage was the follow-up to the original programme Bangla Bangers. It aired between March 2007 and December 2008 and was presented by Leepu, a Bangladeshi car designer, and Britain's Bernie Fineman, an automotive industry expert, shall we call him, who apparently in these formative years fixed cars for a pair of twins called the Craze, according to this article in the Daily Mirror. So I'm not going to question anything that Bernie did. Over the 2 series this programme ran, they modified a total of 16 cars. And I'm just going to pick some off to start with to see what we can find out about what happened to them after the show. The first car I want to look at is what I think is one of their best. It was the Jools Holland Jet 1 replica, and these programmes first aired on the 3rd and 10th of November 2008. Now, Jools was after a replica of a car registration number Jet 1, which was a gas turbine prototype which Rover produced in I think the 1950s. Now, to build this car, what Leepu and Bernie did was took a 1961 Rover and added running gear from a Jaguar XJ6, and then Leepu did his work on the body to basically create a replica of the original prototype. And I think Bernie did quite well to stop Leepu going off creating his own sort of style to it, and they did actually produce what I think was quite a nice replica. So what happened to the car after the show? Well, I found the registration number for it. It was 208XUC, and the first time I come across it is in an article of the Mail Online newspaper on the 7th of October 2008, and they're saying this is the day that Jools had collected the car, and he was very proudly showing it off. I next found it on the Rods and Sods forum, where SJB had posted this picture from when they'd seen it at the 2010 Enfield pageant at Motoring. And I noticed at this point it's acquired some side vents. I don't know if they're fakes or not, but that does match what was actually on the original Jet 1 car. It then goes really quiet on what I can find out about this car until 2022, when Jools himself posted on Instagram a picture of him with the car, saying it was a really nice day, so he decided to get the car out and take it for a spin. I noticed at this point it appears to have had the rear deck modified. There's an extra bulge in it, and there is also what appears to be an extra vent over when it was modified by Chop Shop. And we know Jools is quite a classic car enthusiast, so perhaps he's decided to try and make it even closer a replica than what it was. We go over to our partner My Car Check to find out a little bit more. We can see the current owner acquired this car in October 2008, and that fits in neatly with the timing of the programme and when the Mail Online article said Jools had acquired it. So that all fits in. And interesting, the previous owner acquired it in the May of 2008, so I'm guessing that's probably when Chop Shop acquired the vehicle, did the modifications, then sold it on in the latter part of 2008. Having a look at MOT history, well, between 2009, which was the first one after this car was modified, and 2018, this has got almost an impeccable MOT history. It had one fail on the parking brake performance, but apart from that went all the way through, and since 2018 it would have been MOT exempt, so it doesn't appear. The other slight oddity in the MOTs is that the mileage is virtually identical the whole way through, so I'm guessing probably the speedo doesn't work or mileometer doesn't work in some way, shape or form. And finally, just a quick look on DVLA. This car is actually correctly registered with the right engine. It's got the 4.2 Jaguar engine on the V5, so this car is 100% right. Next one I want to look for is the Porsche 944, which Leepu restyled into pretty much a Chevrolet Camaro, and on the mechanical side they upgraded the performance by adding a supercharger and some various other performance components. Now, this car was for David Ginola to give to his son as a present, and the idea was at the end of the programme they drove it across to France to deliver the car. Now, after the show it all goes pretty quiet. When I look at MOT history, going sort of slightly back to go forwards, it had an MOT in June 2008, and that passed that one cleanly. It was then put in the November 2008 for another MOT, so only sort of 6 months or so later, but it had done 2,500 miles. and it failed quite a lot of electrical items, and also it appears the front seat belts were absent, which is pretty big oversight. However, they obviously got it fixed fairly quickly because it then got an MOT pass the same day. It then is off the MOT radar for a little bit until April 2010, when it goes in for an MOT again fails on quite a lot of little electrical problems, sort of various lights out and so on. But a few days later, it gets a clean bill of health and it's off again. At this point, it's only done 250 miles since the MOC back in the November 2008, so it hasn't gone very far at all. It then goes quiet again until I found this article in 2023 on the Car Scoops website, which is, to be honest, a new website to me as well, and they had discovered an eBay advert for this car. So I've managed to recover most of the advert. As you can see, it was for sale for £12,000. Within the advert, they said they were trying to judge interest for it. So I don't know if that was a real expectation on price or just the number they'd stuck on it to start discussions. They said it had been parked up since the show and since it had been driven across France for the sort of end part of that programme. And it was in running condition. They were saying apparently some of the filler on the body had cracked, but it was sort of basically still as it was in the show, just, you know, a bit of sort of 15 years wear and tear on it. They said if it didn't sell, in their words, for a reasonable price, that they would be breaking it for spares. Mention the things it's got, upgraded brakes, which you can see in the pictures, and the supercharger and so on. And it appears it didn't sell, and it did get broken for spares, because if we go to my car check, we can see that in October 23 there was a certificate of destruction issued for this car. The only other thing I noticed with this on my car check is the current keeper had actually owned it since 2008, so it hadn't changed hands, or at least not officially on the V5, since the time of the programme. And finally, we have Johnny Vegas's Volcano car. Now apparently Johnny already owned a Golf R32, and he was after like a classic sleeper, so he wanted like a Mk2 based car but with, you know, upgraded performance. So Leepu took a Mk2 Golf and added the running gear from a Subaru Impreza four-wheel drive car, so it gave it massive performance. But the sleeper bit seems to have gone a little bit awry, because Leepu did do quite significant changes to the bodywork, so it didn't exactly look like a sleeper, but hey, that's Leepu for you, I guess. I found absolutely nothing on this. This car's gone completely off the radar. I've got no registration number for it, so if anybody out there knows what happens to it, please let us know. The only thing I found was in 2014, Johnny Vegas gave his own unique, how should we say, feedback on this car. Now, I'm not going to comment any further on that one. I'll leave that to you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this. Something a little bit different again for us, but still on that TV car theme. So if you've enjoyed it, please give us a like and maybe even a subscribe, and we'll see you next time.